Hello.
Hi. So we made it onto Zoom and we are live onto Facebook. So welcome everybody. Thank you for bearing with us through the little technical difficulties. And I really want to welcome financial guru Anna Felix here today. Anna, would you please introduce yourself and give us a little bit of background as to where you come from, what your job title is, and what clients you serve?
Thank you, Liberty. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here. Sorry, Facebook just did not want to let me come on live. So I am a smart money strategist, and I help people create the most abundant future possible for them. And it's a fun process. I make it very easy, nothing stressful. It should be just fun to get to grow our money in the best ways possible. And this isn't something that I would have envisioned myself doing even 10 years ago, but almost 10 years ago, I became a widow. And when that happened, I realized that there were a lot of things in the financial realm that I didn't understand and that I should become knowledgeable about, because now all of a sudden I was going to be making all of these decisions. So I went looking for some help and assistance with that. And I didn't really find a warm place to land. I found people that wanted to sell me a ton of things. I found judgment statements like, well, you should have done this and you could have done that. And how come you didn't do that? And that didn't really make me feel very good, because I felt like I was on my path to figuring this out, and that should have been a good thing. But I even had one financial person tell me, well, you don't need to try to figure this stuff out. Just marry a rich guy and then you'll be fine. And I was like, what? That is your financial advice to me? Like, this is crazy. So at that time, a kind of a seed got planted that maybe I should become the person that I was looking for, because I imagined that there would be other people kind of in the same boat, especially women. And so, I didn't know how that would look, but it definitely made me think about it. And at the time, it seemed out of the realm. Just I was commuting to the Bay Area and just a lot of things going on in my life. But as it turns out, things came back around and the opportunity presented itself. And so I started the licensing and started working in the industry. And early on found out, as I worked with a couple of different companies, that being on the other side of the table wasn't any different, in that I was always being told by the companies, this is how we do business. This is how we roll. You may not think that this is best for the client, but we have to make our money. And so I just thought, wow, this is crazy. Like, there has to be something better that we could do. And so kept searching, kept looking for more mentors, and I finally found CalChoice Financial, and it's been amazing since then. And I think that the journey was important, though, because it helped me really appreciate what I had found in them when I finally did. Things from, I had one company hold my license for 6 months, so I couldn't even do business in the state of California. A lot of crazy things happened, but it all helped me really see what it was I needed to do to really impact people's lives. And so I'm able to do that now, and I just love it. It's my passion.
That's so awesome. And I'm really blessed to have met you. And so for the people who are watching and you're not really familiar with who I am Liberty Santiago. I'm a Proctor Gallagher Institute business consultant and a mindset trainer. And along my journey, I have found that I have a wealth mindset, and I want to attract wealth into my life. And I have been able to learn through the laws of attraction, the universal laws, principles, and the system for attracting wealth into my life. And it's no wonder that I came across you, Anna, on my journey. And you have been able to positively impact my life. And naturally, I wanted to bring you in front of the viewers here who are employees, business owners, entrepreneurs, and have you give us some pro tips and tell us about some things that are not normally mainstream investments, and what are some things that we really should be able to get to know. But before we do that, I want to talk about the mindset for wealth. So all the time I hear people who are complaining about their circumstances and their conditions. They don't have enough money, they don't drive the car that they want, and they often blame other people, their bosses, a partner, and their conditions and circumstances are just not what they want. For the reality of it, most people are dissatisfied, and we are programmable in our minds. And a lot of people are programmed by a couple of different things that you've heard over and over again in your lifetime. And one of them is, if you want to be wealthy, you have to work really, really hard. And that can be really frustrating if you go to work and you work really, really hard and you don't necessarily get extra money for that. And then we develop this complaint mindset. And the complaints are really honoring a defeat and a feeling of failure. And it's really hard to attract wealth when our minds are in that space. Another message that we get from society, some religious messages, some religious teachings, send messages that wealth is for the wicked and for the aggressive and the assertive, and that being humble is much more serving to God than being rich. But when we understand and we learn the laws of compensation, it is our right place to enjoy plenty and abundance. And our failure to realize that is where the miscalculation is at. And I want to share this quote with you guys who are watching from Emerson. The key to every man is his thought. And so when we can change our thought, we can then change our vision, and then we can change the conditions. So we can start attracting wealth into our life by creating order. And when we create order, and when we tell ourselves that we are going towards wealth, we don't have to understand how it's going to happen. We will naturally attract the resources and the experts in our life that will allow us to find ways of becoming great investors and having passive income. And it's no wonder that you came into my life and you taught me about passive income. And so if you can, please take the time to explain some of the creative things that have been born out of COVID. And the things that you have shared with me, I thought were so impressive. I definitely jumped on board. And let's give our viewers some awareness of the newest ways to invest.
Okay, so yes, you saw the picture right away, and that's always awesome. But you mentioned the whole COVID thing, and of course, we're in this global pandemic, and one of the opportunities, and that's what we should always be looking for. I think that's one of the things that just speaks to what you were just talking about, is being open to what are the opportunities. Maybe something that I can do now that I couldn't do before, or I won't be able to do soon in the future. So one of the things that's happened is, because of the CARES Act, people this year have access to up to $100,000 in their 401k. Without paying the penalty fee. So traditionally you pay penalty fee and you pay the taxes. You still have to pay the taxes now, but you don't have to pay the penalty fee. So for people that, in March experienced some loss in their accounts, many have recovered up to now, but some have not. They have the ability to take that money and put it somewhere where it's going to grow consistently without the ups and downs of being in the market. One of those places could be land banking. So that is a hard asset. That is something that's always increasing in value. It is not affected by the market. And it happens to be in an awesome area with a ton of growth. It's pre-developed land. So right nearby, there's things like Starbucks and In-N-Out and other companies and businesses that are recognized for being leaders. And if they have establishments near where we are purchasing this land, then it would make sense to purchase land, because growth is coming in that direction for sure. So that's an opportunity, an ability to own a hard asset. And who wouldn't love to just roll money from one account into another, and now you have land. You don't even have to write a check for it. It's not a taxable event. So now you have a true diversification in your portfolio. Another thing that you can do is utilize our private reserve account. And this is something that you can do at any time, not just now with that type of a rollover, but it's the ability to have your money in an account that you have access to as you're growing it for retirement, in a position where it's experiencing growth and can never experience loss. So who doesn't want to be in a situation where I don't have to be worried about what the stock market is doing? Is it going up or down? Am I losing money? Am I paying heavy fees? Those are all things that are consistent with how people traditionally grow money, which is in their 401k. And so now I have the ability to build tax-free retirement, have access to that money while it's growing, because we all know that there's more opportunities. So what if I'm saving my money for retirement and 10 years down the line, I get a real estate opportunity or I get a business opportunity? I could take money from that account and be able to benefit from that opportunity. I could pay that money back or not, depending on what I want to do. But it's all about having choices and you being in control of your money and not having to go, beg and borrow from the bank, proving I'm an entrepreneur and this is something I need to do for my business. Entrepreneurs love these type of accounts because they know what's best for their business. And when they want to grow it, the numbers may not look perfect on paper, but if they have money in an account that they can utilize, then they can make those decisions. And so all of those things are possible utilizing the types of strategies that we do.
I love those strategies. That's so good. And when we are able to get clarity on our goals and we know what we want and we're open to the possibilities, so much more is able to flow into us. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Absolutely.
What is a common thing that you hear when someone comes to you and you talk to them about these types of investments?
So I think probably the biggest one is, how come I've never heard of this before? I've been working with a financial advisor for 20 years and they've never mentioned this before. Or I love the one, my CPA has never told me about that. And that's kind of funny to me because I don't deal with people's taxes and CPAs don't really deal with investments. And yet people kind of combine us and expect that their CPA is going to talk to them about that. 99% of them are not, because it's just not in their wheelhouse. So the fact that you haven't heard of it doesn't in and of itself mean that it's not a good option for you. I offer people the explanation, things that they can read, things that they can research to familiarize themselves with it. Why is it that you're not being told about it? We as a company are just changing the trajectory of the financial world, a little at a time. It will become common knowledge, but for right now, there's plenty of things out there that people can, avail themselves of that are outside of what they would consider norm, and that's why they haven't heard of it. The only thing it requires is just being open to a new idea. And I always tell people, the 401k has been around since 1978. And we don't do anything like we did in 1978. We carry around cell phones and have cameras in our pockets, and we're open to those changes. And we love those new technology things. Well, doesn't it make sense that we would grow money in more attractive and interesting ways? And it's there. We just, again, have to be willing to accept that.
Yeah, that's a great point that you brought up. And, when you start to learn about your mind, you can start to see that there is a part of your mind that is holding you back. With that statement, how you're saying people just aren't really aware, they're not aware of what they are not aware of. And so the part of your mind that holds you back is called your subconscious mind, and it's the programming. So if you haven't heard it before, that part of your mind is there to protect you from what it thinks is danger, but it's really just newness and it's really opportunity. And the most successful business people have the understanding about that part of their mind. They tell that part of their mind, you can go sit by the pool, have a cocktail, while I go over here. I'll be back. Unless there's anything that you want to teach me about this, you can go have a break. And then they go towards what they want to go after. And it doesn't matter what it's called, as long as they're clear on their goals, they know the opportunity, and they're not afraid, and they can go forward. And you don't have to be afraid when you get with people like you who are very transparent. You have the idea that, you're client driven. It doesn't matter if you're going to make, more money by writing the policy this other way. That's not your mentality. And I know that because I've interviewed and spoke with lots of financial advisors, and you have the testimony that, you were willing to do and serve for the client over the business that you were working with when they held your license for 6 months. So that speaks volumes to me, and any smart person would see that as well. So I thank you for planting wonderful seeds, and I know that your harvest is going to be really, really good. And if anybody's watching this that's interested in hearing more about the private reserve accounts and the land banking, which if you weren't paying attention, guys, these are things you've got to know about if you want a wealth mindset, passive income. Anna is your girl. How will they get a hold of you?
So a lot of social networking sites. Obviously, I'm on Facebook, Anna Felix, Cal Choice Financial, Smart Money Strategist, and on Instagram, A Felix Smart Money. I can be found there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to be here with us and to share with us these amazing opportunities. And I just have such a big heart for you, Anna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Liberty. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. Have a great day. We'll see everybody later.
You Bye. Bye-bye.